Yeah, your boy DJ Paul KOM, Mafia Radio, man. Available everywhere now. You know, we used to be in one home, and now we're all over the place. People was fussing too much because it was always like, what time would you come on? And they would literally be reading my posts saying that we come on at 6, but for whatever reason, people don't read what you put in the post. They only look at the pictures. That's why people like you are famous. Uldouz in the house again. Famous for being beautiful and funny and a host of other things. And my lawyer's in the house today, just in case you try to grope me. He's going to be watching. Joe Carlone, straight from Jersey. Connecticut.
New Haven, Connecticut.
They let you wear that Yankees hat up there?
They do.
They got mad as hell at me once. I was in, where was I at? I was in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I wore a Yankees hat. Man, Juicy was playing what's the college over there? Red and
Boston
white.
University?
Yeah.
BU.
And I had on a blue shirt, so I just wore a blue hat. You know, I just landed, just got out the plane, and I wore a blue hat. And they was like, you can't wear that hat. This was like the guy over the school. He's like, you can't wear that hat. And I was like, why not? And he's like, they're going to kill you. I was like, okay, well, give me another hat, dude. I was like, yeah. So, Mafia Radio in here with my girl Uldouz.
What's up?
Joe Carlone.
Hello.
Speaking of groping, man, you know, I'm going to get straight into something weird I saw on TV the other day. You know what the Asians just came up with? It's like the size of lipstick. It's a little stamp. You saw this?
Stamp for what?
For girls to stamp a guy if he touched them.
Really?
And it puts a stamp on your hand that you can't wash off. So if you try to run or try to get away, if she said like paper, she said, hey, paper touching me when he was filming me, she's sticking with that little thing and it shows up in like a neon light. Like you don't see it. You're like, damn, bitch, what the fuck did you just do to me? Like, but when they put the black light on it, it show up a little circle that she hit you with this thing for touching her.
Supposedly. How do you know if someone just went out and started?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was
exactly. Well, I don't know, but they said they sold out the first day. They made like 150,000 or something. But that's so fucking crazy. Because like you say, yeah, what if somebody lie on you and fuck around and walk up and stick you with one of them damn things, and now the police looking for you, and you got this stamp on your hand you can't wash off?
Yeah, my question is, did any guys buy this?
Hell no. I doubt it.
Well, if you don't like somebody, you go by and stick your buddy.
Yeah. It's Hollywood.
That would be cool.
People out here that sticking motherfuckers getting lawsuits all over the fucking place.
Maybe guys are touching other guys. I mean, there's possibilities, you know?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's, guys not gonna want to stick a girl with one because guys want to be groped by girls most of the time.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, but there's some weirdos out here that wouldn't. But yeah, I saw that, man. So I was like, this is the craziest thing ever, man. There's like, they coming up with all kind of crazy stuff. Like, are they going to make something to defend men? Because I don't think this is indefensive to men. Do you think?
It's a crazy time.
It's a crazy time. Yeah! The government is suing Johnson & Johnson for opiates. They said that Johnson & Johnson didn't talk about, they didn't just fully disclose the way that the drug would affect you.
The activation of the drug
affect you. And they suing them for millions, and then they said they could go into billions. First of all, I thought Johnson & Johnson just made lotion. Didn't even know they made pills.
It's one of the largest companies in the country, in the world. They make a lot of different products.
They do. So, like, Joe, you're a lawyer. I want to ask you this. So with a big lawsuit like that, they say they're suing of all of like, I don't know, 150,000 deaths between the last few years or whatever the case is. In a case like that, does that money go to the family of the dead, or are they just saying like, we're just suing you just because people died? I mean, is Prince family gonna get some of his money? Because supposedly he died from opiates.
Yeah, like I don't know enough about the case or the situation.
Yeah, I ain't talking about that, but I'm talking in general a case like that.
If you have a class action.
Yeah, class action.
So then the people who really benefit in the class action, it's the lawyers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they take their big chunk for handling the litigation, and the balance of the money is paid out to the class. And it's pro rata. So the larger the class, the smaller the...
Yeah. Like when you get those bills in the mail and say, hey, we're suing AT&T because they screwed up
And you
somebody's
have the ability
business.
to opt into
Yeah.
the class.
You sign up for it and you get a check for like 5 cents in the mail. I did that once.
That happened to me.
Actually, I didn't even sign up for it. They just sent me the check anyway, and it was like 5 cents.
Yeah.
I'm like, how many motherfuckers was involved in this?
That happened to me
Jesus.
with the, what is it, LA,
Fitness?
electricity and power, whatever it's called.
LADWP.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
They charge me like ridiculous amounts like every month. And I kept telling them like, this makes no sense. You know, I'm the only one showering here and stuff like that, and electricity. And then it was like after a couple months, there was like a class action. And they're like, oh, we realized we made a mistake after the thousands of dollars we took from you. But here's
They'll
$1.
charge you for the utilities you use?
Yeah, like it was like $1 or something. And I was like, what about all the thousands of dollars I paid, you know?
Yeah, they got me like that too. They got me like that because my house got a gate around it.
Yeah.
And they said that they couldn't get in to see how much I was using because I didn't put the sensor where they could. I'm sitting up here like, you don't need to get in my gate because they got ways where they can ride past your house and detect it, or even do it from the computer or whatever the case. But you know, it's still building, and we had to fight it. It's crazy. Yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of fighting, Joe
Sorry.
grew up in Connecticut. You say, right?
New Haven, Connecticut.
New Haven, Connecticut.
182 Saltonstall Avenue. I apologize to whoever's living there now.
It was crazy.
That's it.
You left the place a mess, didn't you?
It was a mess when I was there.
So how you became a lawyer, Joe? What made you want to do that? Because how did you grow up? You grew up bad?
Well, at
An
the time,
Italian mobster? Badass kid.
At the time, New Haven, we had I think one of the highest murder rates per capita in the country. And where I grew up, that was, if people know the area, that was no joke. So everything that someone could have seen, witnessed, experienced, been a part of in a hard place, I've seen it, experienced it, 100%.
Finish. I was gonna say that's the reason why you wanted to be a lawyer, because you.
And so my dad. So I didn't really share this with a lot of people. I'm gonna share with you, my guy. So my dad was a felon. So in my preteen years, he was actually a fugitive, and he would work on Mulberry Street, and that's where he would hide out.
Mulberry Pizza.
That's the L.A. Mulberry. This is the real Mulberry Street in Manhattan.
Okay.
So when I would see him, it was funny. When I would see him, he always had glasses on, and his hair was always kind of big.
In a disguise.
Well, he just didn't want to be recognized. And then
Let's
after,
call it disguise.
there you go. Exactly. Well, it's not like he wore. He
didn't like wear the Humpty Hump
Yeah.
glasses and nose.
what was he
I get
wearing?
He basically just made his appearance such that it was harder to detect who he was.
it. Yeah.
So, yeah, if you want to call that a disguise. Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then and then he went in. He was at the Metropolitan Correctional Facility, Danbury, Lewisburg, and then came out, and so that's. He would always talk about being a mob lawyer and that sort of thing. So it was always in the back of my mind, but it was never anything I wanted to do.
He was telling you to do that?
Yeah.
He wants you to help his ass out.
There you go. But my thing was I just wanted to get out. So for me, it was just get as far away from that as I could. So that's why I came to California.
What year did you come to California?
1991.
So was you a lawyer before you came to law? You went to
to-
school back east.
I went for a year, University of New Haven, where my mom worked, and then came out to California, went to USC. And the way the lawyer thing started.
USC.
Yeah,
My girl went to
Trojan.
USC.
Yeah, Trojans, right on.
Trojans.
There you go.
I got some Trojans in my pocket right now.
There you go.
Anyway.
Break those out later.
Yeah,
and
so-
look, to me, again, it was just I wanted to get away, so I didn't really. USC, California, fine.
You didn't give a shit.
Didn't give a fuck.
As long as it was
I didn't
away
give a
from
fuck.
New
Exactly.
Haven.
As long as away from that. And New York, I'd been there. I didn't want any part of that.
So when you go to school to become a lawyer, you tell them what type of lawyer you want to be?
So what
Was
happened
this
with
a
me
standard?
was my roommate at the time was my best friend today, great guy. He's a lawyer. He was actually an actor back then. And he convinced me, he said, man, you need to go be a talent agent. And I said, why is that? He said, they make all the money and they get all the girls. I'm like, sign me up. So I started.
Talent agent.
Yeah, so I started working at ICM. I got a job there, and I was working for an agent there, and she took a liking to me, helped me out, and I realized back then that's when the agency business was very exciting, and this is what I wanted to do. And all the guys that were in the mailroom had a few years on me. They were JDs, MBAs, highly accomplished, highly successful individuals. So I decided, okay, maybe I should go to law school at night, have someone to fall back on, have something that makes me a little more desirable to the agency, because you have to get through the process. So I went to school at night. But again, it was really to be an agent. That's all I wanted to do.
An agent. And you was doing the attorney stuff just on the side.
Well, I was going to school at night. So I was going to night school, working there, and then I worked for a big producer, Arnold Copelson, and had a bunch of other little jobs, worked for another smaller agency. Then after I graduated, past the bar, I went to this company, United Talent Agency. Got in the mailroom there, worked for a guy named Nick Stevens, who at the time he was the real life Ari Gold back then. Jim Carrey, Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, Judd Apatow. He had everybody. I was making $664 every 2 weeks. He was making a lot more than that.
$600 every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
How many roommates did you have living in LA?
I got lucky.
Kind of money?
I had a little guest house. I got lucky. He was making.
But that was the 90s though, so it went a little farther back then.
Not much.
Not much farther?
Not much, man. It was rough.
Yeah.
LA like, no, nigga.
And I babysat his kids. I would have to drive out and pick up surfboard. I did, you name it, I did it. I did it.
For the big Asian guy.
Yeah. And then after a year, what had happened is they had came to me and they wanted to hire a lawyer within because they could pay the person less than market. And I'm like, well, I really want to be an agent. The guy's like, it pays 70 grand, whatever it was. Like, sold. And that's kind of how it started. And then I started reviewing contracts and was there for like 5 years.
Okay, so I have a question.
Go ahead.
So when you were an agent, did you end
Well,
up...
I was the trainee. I was just.
You were.
When I got promoted, I went into, they call it like business affairs. So I was a lawyer that was reviewing contracts in the building.
Okay, but when you got that job, did you end up getting any girls?
Did I end up doing it? Well,
Yeah, because you said you kind of did the whole
Yeah,
thing for
just-
girls. So did it work or not?
well, no, but did I?
You was making more money, so I mean, that helped get girls.
What happened was, it was funny. There was a bar next to UTA. UTA used to be right in the heart of Beverly Hills on Wilshire Rodeo, which always tripped me out that here I am coming from New Haven and every day I'm going to work on Wilshire Rodeo. There was a little bar on Brighton Way called the Backstage Cafe. Three principals, Stuart Copeland, Ian, and Miles. Stuart was the drummer from the Police. Ian was, I think, the booking agent. Miles was the manager. Cool little spot. I used to go there all the time. When I got the promotion, we had a party. Blew the place out. I invited all the assistants, and they came to me like, hey man, what if we give you a piece of the bar? You keep bringing all your Hollywood people by. So yeah, I had a little bar, had a piece of
the piece of the bar. Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
So now here I am in my 20s.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Finally making it, working for this cool agency, had this cool little spot. So needless to say, I had a lot of dates. It was a good time.
Yeah.
I had a good run.
Having famous, and they gave you a piece of the bar just because you knew people.
Well, because it was a small place, and when the agencies are great, resources, and they have lots of access, and they have, all these young people coming in to work there. Where do they want to go? Bar. Right? So it was every weekend someone would come to me, hey Joe, it's my birthday. Can I have my party at your place? Let me think about it. Of course.
Of course.
Get over there, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's how it,
Hey, that's
cool.
cool.
and it was fun, yeah.
And what all kind of clients do you represent? Obviously, you do hip hop
Now.
because you do us.
Well, now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you, Juicy, the RZA's been my client for almost 20 years now. And I met him when I was
And
at
you had
UTA.
him before us.
Yeah, at UTA. He's been with me. He's one of those people I attribute my career to. I met him at UTA. He came in. He was quitting, asked him to score Kill Bill. He needed someone to do the contract. He had a friend who knew someone at UTA. And at the time, UTA wanted to get into music. That was an interest of mine, so they were throwing a lot of music things my way. And he and I met, and I'll never forget it. We're sitting in this office today, and he's like, look, man, I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna act, I'm gonna write, I'm gonna direct, I'm gonna produce, I'm gonna author books, do everything. Cut to 20 years later, everything he said is accomplished. And on Wednesday, next week, it's the premiere of the Hulu series, which has sort of been the pinnacle, and that was the final piece.
Yeah. When you after we finish recording this, I'm actually doing a verse for a song for a RZA movie. I didn't know RZA he got a movie coming out next year.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say the name of it because I don't know, but they just told me about
Yeah.
it. Oh, Ghostface told me about
Yeah.
it. So it's a song he did for it that I'm doing a verse on. But yeah, he said he directing it. So he direct movies
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah, he did. The Man with the Iron Fist was the first one.
Yeah, I do remember
He gave me a
that.
producer credit on that. That was cool. That was the one he told me about in that meeting too when we first met.
20 years ago?
Oh yeah. And he had been working on it.
I didn't even know Kill Bill was that long ago. Kill Bill was 20 years ago?
This was 2000 maybe. So just about.
That's 20 years ago. 19?
Yeah.
Jesus. What was you doing 20 years ago, Uldouz?
What was
I
I
was in a
doing?
diaper or something. You was in
20
Iran, right?
20 years ago.
Sweden. You was in Sweden.
Yeah, I was in Sweden. What was I doing?
How did you get?
I
Was
was
you
wearing
born
those-
in Iran or Sweden?
No, I was born in Iran.
How did you get to Sweden?
Well, my mom and dad went because it was like the revolution and everything. So my dad fled. He like jumped the mountains and stuff. And he was like, "Are you guys coming?" And then my mom and me, we were like, "No, you crazy? We're taking the plane."
Oh
So we
God.
just waited for him to get like all the paperwork stuff, and then we left.
How old was you when you got to Sweden?
I was asking my mom, I'm like, "Can we go home now?"
No, how old were you?
Oh, 5.
You was 5?
Yeah, I thought you asked me.
How long you lived in Sweden?
Like,
Early 20s or something?
what was it? Like 5 to 22.
It's cool. It's cool there?
It's cold, and the people are cold, and it's kind of racist. But other than
No, well,
that,
we saw that with Ace and Rocky the other
Yeah.
night. Jesus.
well, I experienced that firsthand. Like, it's like either you're Swedish or you're not Swedish. So if you're Italian, you're counted as like, anything else, like Caribbean or, Persian or Hispanic. It's like either you're like colored or somewhere else, or you're Swedish. Even if you're like Polish and you look Swedish, you're still not Swedish. Or
They got some black people, right?
yeah, of course.
Black Swedish people or black people from like Africa or somewhere?
No, they're like black people from everywhere, but
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But like American, like black people from America, they love going to Sweden, especially if they're guys, because they get a lot of girls.
They like black guys out there, right?
Well, they're like, "Oh, you're American? Wow, basketball player."
People like Americans everywhere you go out in other countries.
Yeah.
They do. They just love our swag, the way
Yeah.
we talk, especially Asian countries. You ever been to an Asian country, Joe? Oh my God, you had the time of your life there. I might have Tokyo on New Year's. You should go if I do.
That'd be great.
Wow,
You ever been to an Asian country?
Thailand only.
Yeah, that's Asian.
Yeah. But only Thailand.
I've
Yeah.
always had a phobia about flying, and so when RZA invited me out for Man with the Iron Fist, I didn't go. I'm not gonna get on that plane.
You never flew anywhere?
It's
No,
kind of
I do.
Oh,
but
okay.
that one, it was just I couldn't
Really?
digest it yet.
Yeah. So Joe, you've been in LA since '91. You said.
1991.
All right, so me and Uldouz want to talk to you about something. Uldouz, feel
ahead.
free to chime in on this.
Okay. Ready.
How do you have a stable relationship in Los Angeles?
Wow.
Why you look at your boy over there?
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you
that's
do
a
it, man?
serious question.
Because I know I just met a guy. I was in. I was buying some bed sheets, and it was a guy in there who moved here from. I think he said he moved here from. Him and his girlfriend, they saved up money, they moved here, and I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but actually I wasn't even in. I was in another store, and I bought some stuff from a guy. But anyway, they moved here from back east, and within a year, it was over with. But I get stories like that all the time.
Look, I'm responsible for 2 marriages. Okay? Mr. Paterno, married because of me.
You introduced him?
Yes.
All right.
So there was a woman I used to work out. Her name was Elsie. Very cool, Latina, just the hair, very big personality. And then Pete. He's the exact opposite. But it was just at a moment in time, and they've been happily married ever since. My buddy Don, when I had that bar in Beverly Hills, I'd invite all my friends to come out. And I invited him out. And this girl I was dating, she's like, "I'm gonna invite my friend Maureen." Okay. Great. And I love a good environment. We had so much fun. You and I would have had a blast there.
Yeah.
So this girl I was dating, she comes in. She's like, "Oh, here's my friend Maureen," and she was very, unhappy at the time. And I said, "What's wrong with her?" She's like, "She hates men." I'm like, "Oh, great! You invited this girl to the bar who hates men, right?"
A bar full of men.
And she meets my buddy Don, and then now married. It's been 12, 13, however many years. They're moving to Italy together.
Wow.
So I think
They're getting away from LA, so it'll last another.
Yeah, that's the key.
I think it's possible, but it's just
It's harder.
It's hard. Like my marriage didn't last very long, and the women I dated,
It's hard.
It's short. It's hard.
Well, you think that's because all the temptation?
I don't know.
Or because the weather is always good and the women don't wear any clothes here?
Yeah, why is there like no relationships, or it's harder to get relationships in LA?
Yeah.
What's interesting? I mean,
What you just moved here too, right?
Move where?
To LA.
No, I've been here like 6 years.
That's still kind of new. But.
it's weird. You know, I don't know what it is. I think it's just the society at this time. Like it's funny, recently, I don't want to speak too much about my personal life. I was dating this girl. She was younger.
I would do that about you.
31, right? And we met, and it was every weekend, maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks, right? And it was everywhere, whatever we did, she was all over me. Like, I thought she either want to get married, it was nonstop. And then just, okay, I don't have a relationship anymore.
Yeah, I've seen that.
In a text.
I see that.
Okay.
I know some.
Right,
I was telling you about somebody else I know. They was like, they was hanging with a girl and having fun. And then, you know, all of a sudden she was just like, you know, I really, you know, I just really just want you to just, you know, hang with me, this and that. I'm not really looking for all of that. You know, she was like, she just wanted to fuck. You know, and probably, you know, the line of cocaine time too. So, Uldouz.
Yeah.
How's your dating experiences been in Los Angeles? Kind of like that. Have you told some guys through text message you was done with them?
Taste what?
Through text message. Like, I'm done. I don't want to hang out no more.
Oh, I just, well, not like that. I mean, usually for me, it's been like I wanted the relationships and all that kind of stuff, but I'm very like, I feel like the guys here are kind of a little disrespectful, or they just expect certain things.
Like, we don't love them hoes.
Yeah, like
but
that.
when Snoop said that line, he fucked them up.
Yeah, so kind of like that, and I'm very like, I'm more old school, so when guys act like that, it just turns me off, and I'm just kind of like, oh, whatever, you know. And I just disappear.
So it's hard for women too, just as the same way it's hard for men. It's probably harder for women, right?
I think it's harder here for women because the guys are, you know, they just want to, you know, smash and dash or whatever. But if you're a girl, like a lot of times you don't want to just do that. You want to actually have someone and, you know, quality time kind of stuff.
Well, I think guys do too. I think guys are more emotional than women. I've had so many guys.
There's some emotional men out there.
Oh, and the stories I hear.
Damn it.
Man.
These days.
Yeah. That is true.
And they can't contain it. Like if I'm done, if it's done, I'm done. Like I got that text done, fine, done. Say my piece and I'm done. But I hear
there's some
stories.
Stalkers out here, man. Fuck, stalkers like fuck.
Oh yeah, I had stalkers.
You know, you and I discussed. You know, I think a big part of it is all these young guys want to be rappers.
Everybody want to be a rapper.
They all want to be a rapper or an influencer.
Oh, influencer! Oh my God, yes.
Influencer,
and it just clouds what's going on. And deep down inside, they're probably good people, but they take in all of these different ideas, and I think it messes with them.
Yeah,
like we talk about it.
Yeah. It's because and everybody out here, I'm sure you've been here with this one, Uldouz. Like, I'm a manager, I'm a producer,
yes,
photographer, paper. I'm a photographer. Next thing you know, he's driving you out to the mountains in the desert, and he's sticking a gun up your fucking. A guy did that in real life. Did you ever hear about that story?
No, what did he do?
No way.
So like, I used to watch Married with Children a lot when I was a kid. You remember that show?
Yeah, I love that show.
What's the blonde head hot chick on there?
Christina Applegate.
Yeah.
Christina Applegate. So I watched this Forensic Files where it tells how supposedly Christina Applegate got that role. The woman who they first hired for the role, she moved to LA, blah, blah, blah. She was a model, this and that. And she was the one who originally had that role. And she met this guy who's a photographer, you know, this and that. He wanted to take some photos of her. And he rented a Lexus truck so he would look good. He picked her up. He drove her way out to the desert and actually stuck the gun inside of her.
Oh, my God.
And her thing, raped her, sodomized her, all this crazy shit, and he killed her. And the way they caught him was the pictures that he took of her, he threw them in the garbage can, like on the little walk in Venice. He threw the pictures in the garbage can on top of the rental car papers.
Wow.
Crazy fuck. So some dude was walking by, he saw these pictures of this hot chick, he grabbed up the pictures and he took them home with it. Then he saw her on the news. And then he called them and he said, look, I got these pictures and they got a rental car paper in there. And that's how they caught the dude. And that's how she was dead. And the second runner-up was Christina Applegate.
Wow, that's crazy. You just reminded me of a story, which will also bleed into some of the other clients I've represented. So one of the clients I've had for a long time was a guy, Paul KOM.
Of course. I was just with Paul KOM.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was at Zach's birthday party.
That's funny. Yeah, so they go back too. So this was years ago. He had a residency at the Palms.
Yeah, you
which I
took
had
me
set
to
for
it.
him. Yeah, it was a
I
great.
didn't know what EDM music was then. I was like, what the fuck is this you took me to?
It was massive.
It was crazy.
Oh yeah, that was actually the first major EDM residency.
I wish I could
Las
go
Vegas.
back to that time. Now that I understand and love EDM music, I wish I could go back to
It
that.
was
Yeah.
very successful for him, and one of the deals I'm most proud of. And that deal that we structured was great. So what happens is we go out. He has an event, and it was pre-New Year's Eve. It's like a little thing for the locals or some of the staff at the Palms, and we meet the dancers who are gonna dance on New Year's Eve when he's performing. And there's this one beautiful girl, Puerto Rican. I think she was from New York. So if you're an East Coast person, I automatically, am drawn to you. Great, we really want you to dance next to where the DJ booth is. We'll see you on New Year's Eve. Exchange numbers, great time. We go out there, text her, nothing.
Wow.
We look that night, she's not there. It's like, oh, that's kind of disappointing, but whatever, people are flakes. Come back to LA, it's a few days later, and I was leaving the office, I just happened to check CNN online, and I click on, and it's Vegas dancer body found, and I click, and it's her.
Oh, that's
And it was
horrible.
she was chopped up, and it ended up being her boyfriend at the time, and he was a dancer like Cirque du Soleil. It was crazy.
wow.
And I started flipping out because I had all these text messages. I'm like, wait a minute, am I gonna
The
get a
rewhen
phone
why she
call?
got killed.
No,
Oh
am
my
I gonna get a
God.
phone call?
Oh, because I'm
No,
like,
Yeah.
he's like, who's this nigga texting? Who was a joke call on? Where my knife at?
And when I called, friend at the casino, I was like, no, we know who did it. They already had an idea. They knew like right away as soon as they
Oh, my
found it.
No, I'm talking about that. Maybe the boyfriend got mad from you texting
It
her.
wasn't me. No.
Jesus.
That's
Plenty of time.
horrible.
Yeah, but that was I'll never forget
That's
that. That was
crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of crazy people out there.
Yeah, you got to watch who you date, Uldouz.
Oh, I had some
Be
crazy
careful.
guys. They're like, I had to get a restraining order one time.
You had to get a restrainer. What'd he do?
Well, he followed me from Sweden to San Diego. Then he like stalked me at San Diego State when I was going to school there. And then he like went and paid somebody at T-Mobile or something to like give my number out.
Wow.
Like he was going like really far. Then
This dude seemed like a keeper. This fucker got money, connects. You should stay with this dude.
No, he was psycho. Then I moved
Yeah, he
back
was
to
psycho.
Sweden, and then I was there for like 3 weeks, and then I went to Vancouver, but I didn't say anything about it. And
Yeah,
when I
they'll
went,
never find you in Canada.
I went to Vancouver.
First of all, they don't let nobody in Canada, so you can easily hide up there from any criminal.
Well, he wasn't criminal. He was an engineer.
Oh, but you can have a
The
DUI
eyes.
and you can't even get into Canada.
That's
Yeah.
You wouldn't
considered a
do that.
felony.
So
Yeah.
how you end this?
So no, it was already over. But then when he was here, I got a restraining order. I had a new relationship and everything. He just wouldn't let it go. And I mean, I tried everything to turn him off before this. I was like, I had sex with 10 guys. And he's like, start crying. You really had sex with 10 guys? And I'm like, what the hell?
He probably liked you more then. He probably,
Right. Sick man.
No.
ain't no fun.
No.
That's why.
No, he started crying. He was like, oh, like, But yeah, he was really psycho. Then he went back to Sweden and apparently got an apartment that looked right into my old apartment, like window to window. Yeah, he
Man, what
was
a
really
nut.
psycho.
Wow.
Yeah. But like,
I'm
that
staying
was,
away from Sweden. Between this story you telling me and the ASAP Rocky thing,
Don't go.
Jesus.
But that was a long time ago, and now apparently he's married and with a Swedish woman and stuff. So
How you
it
know
worked
that?
out.
How you know that?
Because my
you keeping
girlfriend-
up with him, ain't you?
No, my girlfriend.
I think sometimes girls secretly like a little stalker. A little bit.
Not me. My
little bit.
girlfriend is the one who like ran into him. So she's like, "Is he still stalking you? Because he's married now and like have a baby or whatever." I'm like, "Okay, cool, perfect."
See, that's
Like,
what worries
leave
me
me
about
alone.
dating in LA is the stalker ex-boyfriend. I don't want to be the guy that's with
Exactly.
the girl
When this
crazy.
nigga ride up.
And I've had a few of those where I've cut them off quick. When I
Mm-hmm.
hear it, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry about it."
No
Nope,
big deal. I
gotta go.
mean, he
Yeah.
just got out of prison. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I had one, and the guy.
Cause see, they won't tell you everything about his
I got
ass.
this girl to tell me everything this one time. and
You
I
got
was-
to, man.
I got to go. And then literally months later, I get a phone call. Well, we kept in touch a little bit, but I would always like text like, "Hey, it's your friend." I made no indication I was interested.
Yeah.
So she's finally going back to where she came from. I don't want to say because I wouldn't want anyone to. And
Figure it out.
yeah, and so then I get a phone call. And we'd been texting, no phone calls. I'm like, "Hello?" And she says, "Hey, if you put a tracking device on a car, where would you put it?"
Uh-oh.
And I'm like,
Lord have mercy.
I think CSI, they put it under the car on the, the tank or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And I hear her go, "Yeah, look under the car." And the girl's like, "Yeah, there it is." I was like, okay, gotta go. Bye. Click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
her
God.
ex had attracted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. I was like, oh my Lord.
He probably was asking her like a couple of questions like, what was this black guy? Was she's like, it's a white guy. What was his name? Charlie Manson? Like, what the fuck, bitch, is Charlie Manson? Like Charles Manson? That's crazy. Man, thank God you got away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they ain't gonna tell you everything. They make sure because women for the most part usually try to tell you that the relationship ended kind of smooth. They don't never really tell you how it ended. They be like, we left. It was applicable. What's the word I'm looking for?
Amicable.
You think so?
Amicable?
Yeah.
Applicable.
I feel like girls
Yeah, that too.
always
It was
say,
amicable, but really, man, a motherfucker that almost tried to kill each other. Man. You never know.
I feel like most girls that talk way too much about their past relationships, like all the time.
You think so?
And then guys are like, they go on and on about the stories, about the exes, and
Yeah, some guys don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But I give a shit.
But I pay attention. I give
Yeah,
a perfect
you
example.
gotta pay attention.
Yeah.
When I was seeing that young girl, right? It's Friday. Can I take the day off? Because I'm a partner, I can.
Yeah.
Driving down to Newport, my favorite spot, sunshine. I'm like, this is great. Look at you, Joe, kid from New Haven. You're doing it, right? And then she's telling me the story. She's like, yeah, and I was at the show, and some guy messed with me. I went to the homies and talked. I'm like, homies?
Uh-oh.
Homies.
Oh, yeah.
Like right away, no, that's what I'm getting. So the signs, it's the subtle things you hear.
You gotta watch the signs, man.
You know,
gotta
the
watch signs.
language,
I was
the
just
voice,
talking
the
about
eyes.
this.
You gotta be.
So what does it mean to have homies? What is she like wanted to beat somebody up or something?
I
She could have been in a gang or something like that.
I don't know if
she was letting you know
West
basically
Coast?
when she get mad at you, motherfucker, she got some friends.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was just
I
a
ain't worried
warning.
about that. I don't worry about that. but it's still like you don't want to be. Or when I meet these we talk about that. You meet these young people at the club, and everyone's got the rap lingo going. Everyone's the tough guy. Everyone's the
Well, the club is not the place to meet
or
someone.
the bar.
Or the bar, yeah.
What's wrong with meeting the person in the club?
I don't know. I feel like they're just there for the wrong intentions, I guess.
Well, like getting drunk and having drunken sex with a
Yeah,
woman?
but where are you gonna
Yes.
go? I mean, you go online. I mean, everyone seems like more people are on the phone swiping.
Oh my God, I could never go online. I feel
Online
like
dating?
that's just like the
That's
scariest
the future
thing.
of dating, I think.
It
I'm
is.
on it. I go on the platforms because when you go out now too, like when I was younger,
I think it's probably easier. I mean, I'm not looking for nobody. I'm in a relationship. But I think for
good
some
woman.
people, I got a good woman. But I think for people that's looking, I think it's good because there's only so much you can go through Whole Foods looking at hot chicks and be like, hey, what's up?
like a creeper.
Oh, so you like the Southwest vegan macaroni cheese too? Wow, I thought I was the only person
well, the one
Don't
thing
do
I
that.
noticed,
trying to start these conversations and she totally not looking for nobody.
Yeah.
it just feels to me like too when I go out, like fewer in people. Like I see fewer guys approaching girls, at least the way we used to when we were younger.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone's already met or they've swiped. So if you're going to the bar, going to the club, I think it's even harder now because people are going in together. They've already swiped. They're on their social media.
Oh, wow.
Everyone's Instagramming, DMing.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer the old school. Like I mean, I do the online, but I'd rather if I see you out, go up and introduce myself. And
Yeah. You know what I think messed up old school meeting people like that? Earbuds, man. It's fucking Apple little headphones. All these hot chicks got those in their ear, and then you look like a real weirdo if you like stand in front of her. She got the headphones. You're like, hey, me, what are you doing? Huh? Take those off. What's your phone number? What are you doing tonight? It's like really creepy. What do you do if you see a hot chick in that situation? You tell her to take the headphones off?
depends on how good she looks and how I'm feeling at the moment. I'll go up, you can wave and say hi. But I think on the one hand, when they have the earbuds in, it means don't talk to me.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
on the
I'm
other
talking
hand, I
about.
think they want to be talked to because no one wants to go out and not have anybody approach. That's not a good thing. Like you as an influencer, right? I mean, you don't want to have people not like you,
Yeah, of course.
right? So there's a balance there.
Yeah.
So if a woman is wearing like really like pants up her, like the little biker exercise pants, like up her butt cheeks, like in the crack of it, is there like a sign that she's kind of like, or she's like, cause like, do women dress a certain? Do y'all like dress a certain way when you kind of like, see, like right now you got this thing hanging over your butt, the shirt. They kind of mean like you don't really want nobody looking at your butt, right? When y'all tie the
I'm
shirts
just
around
like
your hips.
every day, like going around. But if I get all dolled up, at least I want to get some compliments.
You
maybe, or
get dollar.
something.
You want somebody to look right.
I mean, it doesn't hurt. I think you have a problem when nobody's looking.
But does that mean you want somebody to talk to you, or you just want them to look?
like for instance, if I go to the gym and I work out and I got my headphones in and I have no makeup on and I'm red and sweaty and nasty, like then
that
you
means
know,
no.
yeah, probably not. You know.
What if you're a girl that what are girls representing when they wear? Because my girl tell me about girls who wear full makeup to the gym.
Oh, there's a
Full
lot of
makeup.
girls like that.
So what are they doing? They looking for guys in the gym, or they just want to look good, or they just probably ugly about it and all that?
I think they just want to look good and then maybe meet somebody there.
Maybe meet somebody.
Yeah, or like, you know, I noticed like a lot of influencers or like people in the public eye, they feel like, oh, I have to wear makeup when I work out because just in case I run into someone and they want a picture or something.
Influencers, yeah.
I don't know, but I feel like that's kind of weird too. Like,
See, the thing about the influencer,
Yeah.
I don't mean this, I mean this respectfully.
Yeah.
Right? I don't mean any disrespect, I should say. It's like, it's not that they're telling people look good or be good or it's a positive. It's like, you're ugly, you need to look like me. And this is how you get. And I think it messes with people's minds.
yeah, a
I
lot.
think these young kids, that's why I heard too that they were maybe getting rid of the likes.
Oh, yeah.
Because young people, if they don't get likes, they get depressed. They want to kill themselves.
Yeah, they said
And
that, but they never got rid of the lights. They tested it in some other
Other
countries.
countries, yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think it's,
Well, the
I think they
problem-
should get rid of the lights.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the problem is that it's like right now it's so popular to get everything done, like all the surgeries and everything. So you have girls, like little girls that are like 11, 12 growing up and looking at all these girls that have really big boobs and big butts or like small waist and everything looks kind of perfect kind of thing. And then plus they Photoshop the pictures and makeup artists, whatever, hairstylists. And then, I mean, how do you become something like that all the guys like and want to comment and like kind of thing? That's what they're thinking.
but look,
I
there's
think.
nothing like a confident, sexy woman. That's why I
Yeah.
love like Italian women. If you go to Italy, right? So there's a beauty, there's a confidence. And, and I think people are losing sight of that. Intelligence, confidence, sophistication. It's just get the boobs, get the butt, put my picture up there and I'm great. Then when you meet the woman, you know, in real life,
Yeah, you
you're
never
like,
know.
wait a minute,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, go back.
Yeah.
I'll watch you on
And then another thing that I find is crazy is when I was growing up in Sweden, it wasn't popular to have like a big butt or, you know.
Yeah, well, the Kardashians wasn't out yet.
Well, J-Lo came
Kardashians
out.
made white girls want big booties, I think.
Well, it's probably,
That's what
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And first it was J-Lo, then it was Beyonce, then
But
the
J-Lo was
Kardashians.
Spanish, so Spanish girls have big booties, so they didn't
Yeah.
really pay no attention to that. But a lot of
Yeah.
people thought the Kardashians was white. Which,
Really? No. You think so?
Well, where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah.
thought it was white. Where I'm from, everybody is white. If you ain't black, you white.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Tennessee, because we don't have everything down there. It ain't like Los Angeles or New York City where you know, you be like, okay, that person's Jewish.
Yeah.
That person's Vietnamese. This person's Chinese. Like, if you ain't black, you white.
Right.
Got
So
it.
everybody thought the Kardashians was white.
Okay.
And it's like, those white girls got big booties. That's what they thought.
Yeah.
And we was kind of raised thinking that all white girls that had dark hair had big butts, like Janet on Three's Company. That's before your time.
Love Three's Company.
Oh my God, it's the best. Yeah. Before we get out of here, Joe, I want to touch on education.
Go ahead.
So Joe is my lawyer, entertainment lawyer,
Yep.
slash playboy, honcho, gentleman, all those
Thank
things.
you, thank you.
You recently started taking accounting classes, right?
Tax. So
Tax.
I'm about finished with the tax certificate from UCLA Extension. Correct.
So did you do that because you want to do business as a tax guy?
No.
Personal education.
Personal education and make myself a better lawyer. You know,
How does that come in with being a lawyer?
Well, when what I do as a transactional lawyer, like I do with you, is we structure transactions, right? And tax is a part of every transaction. So how could you go into negotiating a transaction without understanding the tax implications? And there's a lot of lawyers that don't understand, and they'll pass it off to someone, you know, if
CPA or something.
a tax lawyer specialist, was fine, which you could do. But I wanted to be, you know, to provide you and my other clients with the best possible representation to be able to understand that. So when you get to that early stage, you could already take into account the tax implications and structure the deal. So I've always had sort of somewhat of a layman's understanding, but this was a great way to just sort of, you know, memorialize it, get a better, you know, understanding. And I'm going to do a finance one next, get a certificate of finance.
Financing. And see, he was telling me about this. He take these classes at home. You should probably look into this too one day, Uldouz, because it's real. It's really, really good to know. Just not even whether you're a lawyer or not. Just having that education of how the tax works. It helps you watch your money so much more better.
And I was somewhat intimidated at first because I wasn't going into a classroom. You do it online. This module they have set up, but it's great. I don't have to listen to a professor.
Yeah.
The course materials I've checked, the quality is the same as you'd get at other, institutions. So as long as you read and do the work, you'll come away with a meaningful understanding of the concepts. And for people who want to learn anything, whether it's tax or another language or finance or anything, I encourage people to get out there. Gary Vee. Mm-hmm. Listen to Gary.
I love Gary.
He always talks about that. He always talks about, it doesn't matter your situation, as hard as it is, there's enough resources. If you want to do it, get your hustle on and go. And I think that's definitely the truth.
Very important. Because you can make all the money in the world, but not knowing how to keep the money is the hard part. Like, people think it's hard to make money. It's really not that hard to make money, especially these days, man. Like, with the resources that we have on these phones and the resources we have to look stuff up, like, okay, I want to create a lemonade stand. How do I do that? You Google it. It's going to tell you step by step and with links. Even if you even think about it, the way these phones are, if I think about lemonade stand, I'm going to see a lemonade stand when I scroll through this Instagram in a minute. So,
actually, before I want to say one thing about you. So, in all my years of doing this now, it's been a long time. I'll put Paul in the top tier of all the clients I've worked with, who I think is the happiest and the most successful.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you.
And I think it's because you have what we call a seeking mind, and you've always sought out, knowledge and information, and even with your business, and since that's what we're discussing, you've understood not only is making revenue important, right? Managing your expenses, revenue, less expenses, that's profit. And then the resulting profit, managing that.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So then you don't have to worry about the hustle. You don't have to worry about constantly making. And people that are I have clients this way, unfortunately, they're so revenue focused. It's tough. They lose sight of the other areas, so they're not building their capital, and their expenses are out of control, and they're constantly, it's like they're on this cycle, going nowhere.
Yeah, I just had this conversation with somebody. I was like, actually I just had this conversation with my son, like 4 a.m. this morning. My son, but anyway, I was just telling him, I was just teaching him, if you keep the overhead low, you don't have to work as hard to keep up with all of this shit. Like, you don't need the most expensive car, because my son like expensive cars, but I'm like, you always wrecking your cars. So a more expensive car costs more to insure, costs more to repair.
Exactly.
This and that. When I was his age, we rode around in box Chevys. We went to the junkyard and got a new fender, $200, new bumper, $300-400. It was cheap. It was easy. Yeah. So if you keep the overhead as low as possible, you don't have to worry about the bills as much because it's easier to maintain those. That's why people in Las Vegas live so nice and don't have to work as much.
Yeah.
And when you have that money, you have those earnings, invest it. Be smart with it, and that'll grow.
So investment-wise, what do you think is the best thing to invest in?
It's tons.
Yeah, I mean, like my thing is, and tell Paul this, and you go to the experts. Go to the people that know. Right? And there's no formula. If there was, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
Right? But just find someone that you know, that you trust. And I just always tell Paul and all my clients, err on the side of conservative. Right? Don't try and make the huge gains. I mean, look at Bernie Madoff. That was great. He promised people the world. And what happened?
Nothing.
Even worse than that. They lost everything.
Yeah,
right?
They lost everything.
So you don't need to go there. Don't buy into that. Just find someone you trust that's smart, been doing it a long time, just have clients for a long time, and be conservative. And you just go for the long haul. Everything should be long term.
Okay.
You got that, Uldouz?
Yeah.
Where do I send the bill?
Send it to Uldouz.
I'm sending him.
This guy's $9.50 an hour, man. You got him?
Damn it.
Joe, you how you want people to contact you? You got a social media, Facebook, or you don't want nobody to find you?
They don't need to find me.
They don't need to find you.
If they need me, they'll know how to find me.
There you go, Joe Carlone. Thank you for coming through. I know how you find you. I call you every day, all day.
Yeah.
Uldouz, how can we find you?
At Uldouz, ULDOUZ. It's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, that's it.
Snapchat.
Snapchat. No, Snapchat is Snap Uldouz.
Snap Uldouz. You got all social medias now.
Yeah.
You got it all covered.
You got it.
Except for TikTok.
Yeah, I don't. There's too many of them these days. I can't keep up with
me
them.
neither.
I want to get off.
I'm DJ Paul at DJ Paul KOM, as in King of Memphis. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Holla at me. That is me. I do talk back to the fans. Instagram and Twitter at DJ Paul KOM. Facebook at DJ Paul KOM Official. Mafia Radio, man. I love y'all. We out. Mafia.
All right, bye.
Radio.